Going live, live, live. I think this deserves a little bit of thunder. Oh, come on.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There we go. A little bit of thunder.
I like that song.
Yes, it's always a good song. You know, every time you jump on and off the microphone with your mute thing, it makes a lot of noise.
I didn't press my mute button. I
Oh.
moved my mic away from my face because I need to do something.
Okay, well, every time you move it back, then it makes a lot of noise.
Oh, I didn't know that. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. It's one of those things about a microphone when you start moving it around. Didn't mind me.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear all that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happens when you move a mic around.
Oh, geez. I didn't know that. Okay.
It's really kind of. Sometimes it's a little bit. It shows up in the show. You should listen to our show from time to time just to know what we're saying.
Okay.
And to know how much it's like even when you go from mute to unmute, it makes a big clicking noise.
Yeah, that's why I don't use the mute anymore. I thought I was being sneaky with moving my mic away.
No, you're not being sneaky.
Oh, man. I thought I was. My bad.
Half the time it sounds like you fell asleep or something. You're suddenly waking up like, oh, yeah. All right. Well, we got the usual great stuff for everyone today. I got to get this other device running. That's what we need to do. Get that. I got to go through and clean up my board and rewire everything. I got to rewire it all so that it gets cleaner sound. I've noticed the last couple of times I've listened to the show, the sound is off a little bit. And I'm not
There's
certain.
a bit of fuzz and crackling.
Yes, there's a bit of fuzz and crackling. Yeah, it's got to be a ground loop. I've got to be having a ground loop issue. I also got to see now that I'm using Discord versus Skype. It's I want to see if I can rewire this so I don't have to do the the mix minus on it anymore.
Mix minus?
It's a setup to allow sounds to. You have to do it with Skype, so that when I play the sounds,
glitch.
You know, you actually hear them.
Yeah.
Okay, but when I was with Skype, I had to set up a really convoluted mix minus setup to get the sounds to go through, and then it quit functioning, which is why I had to go back to using switch to using Discord so I could get the sounds across. And it's just being a pain in the neck. And I'm trying to get better, cleaner sound. It's like your sound is coming through cleaner than mine, which is really quite irritating. On the
Yes, you have the fancy setup.
Well, I've got everything all, tickly-booed here, and it's like for some reason, at my end here, it's not coming through as clear or as clean as it is from you. And yours is all the stuff coming through the internet. So I've got to get it all cleaned up, which means I got to take an entire day to take it all down, redo all the wiring, strip all the wires out. I don't care how carefully you lay out your wires when you first wired it up. Some critter gets in there and just twists them all up. And so once you start taking them apart again, it's like you spend hours undoing each individual wire. And then you relay them out carefully, and then all of a sudden, 6 months later, they're a jumbled mess. It's like some critters get in there and say, yeah, let's play with these.
It's a knot monster.
Yeah, that's it. Not me. Not me. I don't know. Not me. I don't know. House with kids invaded by those ghosts everywhere.
Yep. Well, monsters. They're not me monsters, and then there's also the knot monsters, which get into all the shoelaces and everything too.
Yeah. Well, there's that problem too.
And kites. I hate kite things.
There we go.
That was loud.
That was loud. That was very loud. Yeah, it sounds a little loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's even showing up a little loud. Let's go adjust that just a little bit. Let's see.
Oh.
That's better. That works a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? Well, we got 3 people on the line. Let's see what we got. Anyone on the line? Say hi, people. I know you're out there somewhere. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I got to adjust this. Talking. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2. Oh, fuck off. I'm not talking to you, you fucking piece of shit. I gotta do something about my iPad here, man. I have no idea.
She wants to be involved.
She does. This critter inside the iPad all of a sudden randomly pops up. And it's like, yeah, I didn't understand you. No, I wasn't talking to you.
Maybe she's feeling left out.
Yeah, well, could be. I have no idea. Stupid little thing. My tracking device inside my phone. Remember the 1970s, careful what you say on the phone. They might be listening and tracking you. Nowadays, hello, tracking device, please do this for me.
Yes, find me so I can figure out where the nearest coffee shop is.
Yes, hello, tracking device, man. Please tell everyone what I'm up to and everything I'm doing and buying.
Yeah, it's creepy. My phone did something funny the other day. I can't remember what it was, but I've been talking about exercising and like getting started and going to the gym and stuff, or at least getting started and working out. Yeah. And I had an entire conversation with a couple people who they have like a long history of doing specific workouts that help them a lot. And my phone started giving me all these ads for gyms and workout things.
It's tracking you. Where are you going? All right, well, enough of all the tracking, managing stuff. It's time for some great music and some piss poor singing and into the show.
claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage. Like kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Saying not the answer, not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, we'll move it right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Turkey and the chigger, the scene who done the crime. And Captain pulled the trigger, and guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, is it yours or is it mine? Most definitely mine. Claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, going with them sacred rules of old. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devils at the crossroads, jokers doing fine. Just sitting doing time. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Nice to see you made it, Hemdian. Alrighty. Well, it is time to wind this up and get ourselves moving into a show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
Sniffing Out the Truth. It's episode 498, and we have plugins for Bro Me Baby, gambling, events, name games, to infinity and back, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you, but of course, right off the top, the countdown to episode 500 is here. We only have one more episode to go, and we do have some 500 art. I'm going to have to bring in my co-conspirators over this show, and we're going to have to judge the art, see which one we choose. But hey, we'd happily have some more. We do have a race going. At least 3 artists have submitted, so hoorah. Also, a reminder, we are in the 47th week of 2 weeks to flatten the curve from the Rona, the greatest scam perpetrated on the entire world all at once. Prepare now for the annual holiday of only 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
So this is number 6 of 52 episodes for 2021. It's episode 498. And we are going to be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the 2-week lockdown soon, like my dad was saying. I wonder, do you think we'll be allowed to head out and celebrate this in the streets?
Oh, we might be able to, just as long as you stay, 20 feet apart and all by yourself.
Wait, 20 feet? Oh, man.
Well, that's got to be the new thing. I mean, after all, I caught a thing about Dr. Bonnie here today. Anyway, that's the wrong show for that stuff. Let's go. Continue.
Perhaps we could just simply stick to our own zone-out spaces instead. Hiding under our blankets, curled up on the couch, watching shows, listening to books, and don't forget the drink. Irish tea is currently my favorite. And just a reminder, don't be afraid to tell your kids to bugger off for an hour. It's totally allowed to demand that they not bother you unless they are broken, dying, or bleeding for the entirety of an hour. Maybe help them to create their own zone-out spaces, then quietly walk away while they're arranging it. And you'll more than likely get an hour all to yourself that way. Just don't crumple any chip bags. They'll come running.
Yeah, they can hear those a mile off.
Yeah. And remember, remove all social media and mainstream news from your zone out time and areas. Rinse and repeat as often as needed.
Absolutely, yeah. You notice that if you crumple a chip bag, the kids who never listen to you, all of a sudden they'll come out of the most strange hidey holes when they hear a chip bag crumple.
Or a cookie bag.
Yeah.
Like those bags that cookies come in, they sound similar, but they're slightly different the way they sound.
Absolutely.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
Absolutely. We do have some news this week. Not a whole lot. It's been kind of a quiet week. I didn't do a lot of news searching. I was tied up with many other things this past week. But first off, of course, for those of you that don't know it already, WordPress has passed the 40% market share of Alexa's top 10 million websites. And, I'll give that with a grain of salt, considering that it's an easy thing to manipulate, because at one point I had my website as one of the top 1,000 websites in the Alexa top 10 million. Okay. And I never got a lot of traffic from it, but through manipulations, I was able to get myself ranked very high in Alexa. So I give that one a grain of salt. But I do admit WordPress probably does have 40% or close to that of the market share of CMS systems.
That seems like not a lot and a lot both at once.
Well, considering,
less than half, but still, that's a lot for just one company.
It's a lot for one company. But, the WordPress itself, when they're not talking about WordPress.com. They're talking about the WordPress.org or the software used by so many people to build their websites. Okay. That's what they're talking about. The software, the WordPress software, not that WordPress.com or Automatic has the market share. They're talking about WordPress.org software. The stuff we use on a weekly basis to create new websites and everything else, being WordPress, the core software. And it's because the CMS, it does happen to be the better CMS for the most part now. Although as ClassicPress gains momentum and ground, I'm certain it's going to crush WordPress. It's just going to take them 5 to 10 years. Same way WordPress, it took them, I didn't discover WordPress till it was about 5 years old. At that time, it was such a piss poor thing, but it was better than everything else that was out there. And that's what allowed them to grow. Okay, WordPress 5.61, a recent update. And if you're like most of us out there who let the auto updates increment, I'm going to have to go turn off all the incremental updates on my websites again, because WordPress screwed it up. Screwed it up nicely for everyone this time. It's not a major bug they introduced, but it's a bug nonetheless. And I started noticing it after 5.61, but I didn't make the connection. I was so busy with everything, I just ignored it. And that is every time you go to save a page, or no, you save your page or post you're creating, but every time you try to exit it, it pops up a warning. Are you sure you want to leave? You might not have saved everything. You go, wait a minute, I know I saved it. So you save it again, and then you go to exit, and it still pops up the message. Well, it turns out this is a bug that was introduced in WordPress 5.6.1. And I was not overly happy to discover that, because I've got it across all the websites I'm working on now, because I let them update automatically. So I'm going to have to turn it off again. This is what they did once before. They went for a long time with no errors, and then they introduced an error. And the last time they did it in a point version, it was a real pain in the neck, but I'm just going to have to turn them off and keep them all off and never let the auto updates occur anymore. That way I can control when I update and find out about problems before I update. So just a warning to everyone. So if you're seeing this bug in your WordPress website, if you're running 5.6.1, it's just a bug. They will eventually get around to fixing it. Supposedly, this bug only is impacted in Chrome, but I use Firefox, and it's impacted in Firefox too. So
interesting. I haven't seen that yet, but
no, I have no idea. It doesn't impact everyone, but it impacts enough people that it's being written about now.
That would be very irritating.
Yeah, it is. It's really quite irritating. Because then you're like, did I save that? Because you're so busy doing things, you're like, did I not? And then you have to save it again just to make sure. All right. If you're an Elementor user, it seems Elementor is changing its pricing structure. So if you're not already a pro user, you better get to it right away, because currently the pro license, $199. I think the renewal is $150. They give you a discount for the renewals. And it gives you 1,000 websites. Well, they're changing that. It's going to drop down to 25 websites. If you want 1,000 websites, you're going to have to pay $1,000 a year. Basically, they're trying to chew it down to $1 a website, or $50 a website, or something crazy. You know, they're going from $49 for one website to $999 for 1,000 websites, and all sorts of stuff in between. So they're changing it. The only one nice thing they're doing is they're at least going to grandfather in all the people that have been supporting them. I would have been choked. I would have gone straight to Beaver Builder. I would have abandoned them if they'd turfed out my license. You know,
understandable.
You know, and I just would have said, well, fine, fuck you, I'm out of here. But at least they didn't do that the way Woocommerce did to people way back when they changed their licensing. So at least they're smart enough to do that and not piss off their entire user base. Only some of them. Some of the people are choked about it, but not too many. I'm not overly distraught about it, because, you know, I've got a decent license, and I'll be keeping it for a while because I've tied myself too deeply into the Elementor ecosphere. That's the problem. You get tied into an ecosphere, they make changes, and you're stuck in it, and converting out of it is more money than staying in it.
Yeah.
And one more thing here. If you are using the Next Gen Photo Gallery plugin, you need to update it as soon as possible. There is a security flaw in it that may allow your site to be pwned. I haven't heard that term in years, man.
I thought it was pronounced pwned.
Pwned. Well, maybe it's pwned. I've always called it pwned.
Well,
as in
pwned
lampooned.
as in they own you.
Yeah, pwned. Pwned as in they owned you. They pwned you. It's the southern version of owned. Pwned. There you go.
Fine, you can say southern version. I'll say Canadian version. Pwned.
Whatever. At any rate, what's wrong here is there's a flaw in it that allows attackers to convince you to respond to something they've sent and allow them to take over your site. It's something you might want to read about, but it's cross-site request forgery, kind of a different type of term. And you'll want to take care of it if you're running this. I've tried using this plugin off and on over the years, but it's always been such a pain. It was such a wonderful plugin when it was first created about 7 or 8 years ago. And then it started going downhill, and then I can't remember the theme company that bought them, and they started changing, and it just became a nightmare to use. And off and on, it's been better, but it keeps going downhill. It climbs up and it goes down. They've had a rough ride. All right, and that's all I have for the news. That's it for this week. This is
not too busy of a week.
Yeah, that's been kind of a quiet one. This is where we move into the part of the show of...
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Just send us cash. But in lieu of cash, we will take your time and talent. And this is where we like to acknowledge the producers of the show. That's you out there, everyone listening. You are producers of this show. Help us produce it. Help us create better content for you and everyone else, man. Please send us information. But first off, I do like to talk about the artists. As I mentioned off the top of the show, for episode 500, I was afraid we were only going to have one piece of artwork, but we have a race. We have at least 3 different pieces of artwork from 3 different artists. So thank you.
Exciting.
Thank you to the artists out there for episode 500 art, which we will be judging over the next couple of weeks and determining which one we use. And we will showcase all 3 pieces in the 500 episode. Make a special place for them all. So we'll give out credits for everybody for it. At any rate, this week for artwork, we've got a piece in from Angel Lamu, which is a great big snuffy nose from a puppy dog, sniffing out the truth of what WordPress plugins are all about. So thank you, Angel. Greatly appreciate it. Good piece of artwork. You can check out his stuff over at koadigital.com. Link is in the show notes. Executive producers. Well, executive producers are those who submit $50 or more, and with a note, we will read it out on the show if you provide one. If not, we'll just say thank you very much for the money and acknowledge your donation. But we don't have any of those this week, but we do like to thank those who come in under $50. There's a few of you out there, just a couple here and there, helps out, gives us a few bucks. We've decided that just stays anonymous, and that's the line we drew a few years ago on the show, and we'll just keep it at that. And the small subscriptions do help out, and with big thank you. A big thank you also to those who have hired me after listening to the show. Either you've hired me for web hosting, or you've hired me for design work or site work. That's as good as supporting the show, so thank you very much. And if you would like an acknowledgement for that, just let me know. I will acknowledge you in the show. I just don't normally shout out my clients on this show. I am still also pimping out my daughter here. If you want to see her pretty little mug in the live stream, it's now up to a $400 donation. That's going to go up again real soon. At the rate it's going, she'll never be live on the stream. At least her pretty mug won't be, just her voice. You'll just have to imagine what she looks like. All right. You maybe go out there and start a GoFundMe. That might help you out.
You know, I have an idea for show 500. We should have that up at 500.
I think that's
make it 5 all across.
That's a good place for it. Well, that's a good place for us to notch it up. Another couple episodes, we'll notch it up. We'll see what happens. All right. If you want to help the show, as I said, time, talent, treasure, you can donate money to the show. It is of massive value to the show. You know, I keep putting that in the right spot, and then I keep losing it. Every time I put it where I can find it, I keep losing that little jingle. Nice jingle. It was great.
Get a little Post-it and put an arrow on the Post-it and stick the little Post-it right next to where the button is.
It's time to donate to Wpit.
I gotta
Plugins A to Z.
I just gotta move it to a better spot. So as I said, time, talent, treasure. What you can do is go to the website, wpplugins.com/donate to donate to the show there. You can also submit art through the art generator, which I'm working on revamping so that not only will it take in the art, it's going to start creating galleries for the individual artists. That's one of the things I'm working on right now. Eventually, it will get accomplished, and we'll have a fantastic art galleries that are constantly updated with the latest art, and it'll be able to showcase all the art that's been submitted since we've had artists submitting it. And I guess we've been getting the art from artists for about a year now, you know, bits and pieces here and there. So thank you very much. And I do want to showcase it for everyone so everyone can see what's been submitted and what's been chosen, what hasn't been chosen over the time. You can submit news, articles, information, plugin suggestions for reviews, and more. Just hit the contact form and send us a piece of information, or you can write me direct at john@wppro.ca. All right, and that's all we got there. It is time for us to move it right along to what everyone shows up for this show for. That is, of course, heading into the depths of plugin depravity. And what do we got for you this week? ClassicPress options. It's still pretty lean in here. I haven't had time to do any ClassicPress stuff, and I will have to spend some time doing that if I'm going to get anything, because there's nobody out there submitting stuff. But hey, if you are using ClassicPress and you're listening to the show, submit some stuff for me. Make it easy. At least, spread the word to your other ClassicPress users. Help us get more information out there about it. Okay, WordPress plugins. What do we have for WordPress plugins this week? Well, first off, what I have for you is I have a plugin called Design Bro Business Name Generator. This is actually a cool little plugin, which I think is quite amusing. You plug it in, insert a little short code on your website somewhere on a page that you go to, and then you type in a bunch of keywords about what you think your business is about, and it spits out back at you a bunch of crazy ass names for a business based on those keywords.
Oh, cool.
And these are names such as, what do we got? We got like parlor or parlay, which is pronounced parlor, and then you've got, what are all these crazy names we have for businesses out there, which aren't even, you like, really, you pronounce it that way with all those letters? Okay, I guess that's a stretch. But anyway, that's what this does for you. It creates unique names. And then, of course, the way they built it, it's got links on all the names. You click through to Namecheap, which I'm willing to bet is an affiliate link for them. You register it through Namecheap, and you get your domain cheap. They make $1 off you. Fair enough. I won't begrudge them that, but it's a really cool idea on their part on how to increase their affiliate link sales. It may not be. I didn't check the links to see if they're affiliate, but I'm willing to bet that's what it is. It's a really cool idea, but I like the idea of the plugin to help people come up with some crazy name for their business in this day and age when there's so hard to come up with a new name, because of course every domain on the internet has to be new and unique.
Yeah.
That's a really what?
It's just a really, really cool idea. I really like it.
Yeah. And I give this one a 5 dragon rating. Go check it out. The Design Bro Business Name Generator.
And the first one I've got is called Night Eye. So I'm one of those people who I prefer to work in dark mode most of the time. My eyes don't like the bright white all the time. And this is a pretty cool plugin that I found. It's a dark mode for the front end, just the front end. It offers an on-off toggle for your viewers rather than forcing them to deal with the dark mode all the time. And instead of inverting the colors or changing anything drastically, these guys have instead set up to keep most of the colors, only changing the black writing to white. It's actually a very nice effect that they have, and it's brilliant for people like me who need the darkness to help their eyes keep healthy. This plugin actually works with whatever plugin you have going for your dashboard, which is very useful. I've been finding as I've been looking through these that if you get something for the front end of your site, it doesn't really work unless you disable the back end that you have going, which is really, really frustrating. But this one works with the dashboard as well. Very cool. It does have a pro version. In the pro version, you get to set a timer for when the dark mode will be on and off. You get to play around with the color scheme. It essentially just gives you a fancier version of what you get in the free version. So if you're in need of a dark mode for the front end, I highly recommend this plugin. But because it does have a pro version, I rate it 4 dragons.
Very cool. I'm not overly fond of dark mode. They're actually harder for me to read than the bright white ones. So I have to stick to the bright white. And when I'm stuck in dark mode, man, it just annoys me to no end.
I wonder if there's like a medium mode where it's darker, but not white or black.
Well, the gray, I've built website using grays and backgrounds, and it makes it easier to read for me. So who knows? Okay, the next one I have for you here today is called Raffle Play Woocommerce. So you want to add some gambling to your site. Well, this is a way to do it. Well, what actually occurred to me on this one is I belong to a couple of groups that, of course, haven't been meeting for the last year because of, science, whatever it is. And we used to, when we'd have our dinner meetings or our meetings, we would have something like a wine raffle where, we'd have some wine bottles and you could buy 3 tickets for $5. And basically it raised money for the club. It usually cost about 25% of the money raised to buy the wine bottles that were given away. Everyone knew what it was, and it was lots of fun. Well, this is a way for groups, organizations to still have their raffle tickets. Make a few bucks, give away a few things. Help keep the group passing money back amongst themselves. A really cool idea. You could use it for other things if you have raffles or other things on your group, but on the whole, it just seemed like a really great idea. It plugs into Woocommerce. It marks a product as a raffle ticket. It's got a prefix for the tickets, and then you can have a ticket raffle and see what you can get for it. So interesting plugin. I thought it was worth checking out and something to set up on a website and enjoy it. So go check this one out. It's called Raffle Play Woocommerce, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
Pretty cool, actually. The next one I have is Infinite Uploads. This plugin was very exciting when I came across it. It's a plugin that it says that it allows you to store all pictures and other items on a cloud with unlimited space for free. Makes it accessible with the utmost security. It has unlimited space, no third-party account required. Unfortunately, as per usual, is a little too good to be true. It's only free after you pay for an account with infinite uploads. Yeah. And the cost of what you need is based on how much space you need. See, first, when you upload this, it has a button that shows up in the settings for it, and it says scan site. So you scan the site, and then it's like, you need this much space. Click here, and then you click there, and it takes you to its site where you are given the price allotment that it'll cost you to store the stuff that you have on your site currently. And you have to sign up and make an account, and yeah, so it's free after you buy an account. It's not a bad price, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like you get 20 gigs for $9 a month, so it's reasonable. And there really is no limit on how many sites and users connect to it.
20 gigs is nothing, man.
And it can be used for e-commerce to hold all the files on WordPress. It can be used for all kinds of things. Oh. So it's kind of misleading.
It's kind of
so.
Okay.
And so. They are offering, I thought it was a decent price. I guess I'm just not familiar enough with this.
Uh-huh.
I thought 20 gigs for $9 was a decent price.
No, that's think about it this way. You can get the same cloud storage at Dropbox, or not same, well, actually similar. You can get a terabyte. Like I've got 3 terabytes at Dropbox, and it cost me $19 a month.
Okay, so maybe not good pricing then.
Yeah, no. 20 gigs for $9 a month? No.
Okay, well, I rated this at 3 dragons.
Yeah, that's probably about where it belongs. Okay. So it sounds kind of an interesting plugin, but so that's the way it goes. All right, the final one I have for you today is subscriber add-ons for the events calendar. The events calendar by formerly Modern Tribe. I can't remember who bought it recently from Modern Tribe, but the events calendar is still a great calendar plugin. And the nice thing about this add-on is what it does is it allows your visitors to subscribe to your calendar, so they'll get an email whenever a new event is added. And for those of you that use, like I have for the Hike Club for Men, I'm getting that set up, and I'll have this set up on there so people can subscribe to the Hike Club for Men calendar, and so they'll know when a new event is created, and they won't have to constantly visit the website to find out if an event is happening. So this is one of the great tools I've found that can be added to your website. So you'll want to go check this one out if you're running an events calendar, or in specifically the events calendar by Modern Tribe or whoever owns it now. This is a nice little add-on to make it better for your visitors and users to know when the events are happening, and they won't have to come visit your website and maybe miss an event. So go check this one out. Great little plugin, and I give it a 5 dragon rating.
That seems like it could be really useful.
Yeah, if you're running an events calendar, it's extremely useful because, the problem with events calendars is like there's a few places I go for events calendars, but I often forget to go check them. And sometimes I check and it's like, oh, I already missed the event because I didn't know when they added a new event.
Yeah.
And that's what this allows is, a new event's added, you're subscribed to it, you'll get notification of a new event happening and occurring. And so that's why I'm like adding that one to mine. So because I know the Hike Club foment will start to grow. I just don't know how fast or how slow.
So Hemdian has a question for us.
Mm-hmm.
What's with all the short plugin names? Last week they were all so long.
Oh, it's it's one of those things. We'll just call it kismet. Balancing out the universe. We got to have some yin to the yang.
Yeah, it didn't even occur to me that last week we did have long names. This week we have short names. Didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, that thought never occurred to me either. It's just the choices of plugins this week.
All right, so the last one I've got here is Wpit Funny Name Generator. I thought this one was kind of fun. It's a short code run plugin. You just put in there and then you put the short codes that they give you in there. And what it offers up is silly names, Jedi name, Ninja name, and Mad Max name. It's actually a lot of fun. You can keep putting in like just a different name every time. You put your information in there, you tell it to find the name for you, and you get your secret Ninja or Jedi or Mad Max name. It's so fun. I know a lot of people on Facebook. I still see a lot of people on my Facebook who do that, and it could actually be a really good addition to your site. It's free. It has an automatic share on Twitter button thing, so it could actually get you tweets and be noticed and all that fun stuff. So definitely go check this out. It's totally free, so you really got nothing to lose. And yeah, I rate this at 5 dragons.
Cool. So it just generates the names. It does nothing else.
Does nothing else, but
Okay.
they're fun.
Okay. Well, got to have fun. I mean, what else would it be? All right. So this show still currently brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely. Nothing but high quality web hosting. And remember, folks, my last server is starting to fill up, so there's not a lot of spaces left on it. So if you're looking to get some quality web hosting, you better reach out to me soon. I imagine within the next 3 to 5 months, it will be filled, and I will only be taking clients when somebody goes out there and snuffs one of my other ones. Okay. Contests.
It's a contest. WordPress plugins from A to Z. Whoa, stop for free!
Loving these sound clips that we're getting.
Absolutely. Thanks to Steve Goodtime and Brent Matthews for that one. Really appreciate it. Our contests are also powered by the Simple Giveaways plugin. I haven't given them a shout out in a while. I got to remember to do that every once in a while because, of course, they've given me a free version of their Premium Pro license to run our contests. So thank you very much, guys. I greatly appreciate it. It's a great plugin if you're looking to run contests on your website. It makes the automation really easy for everything. It automatically selects the winners. It adds their names to email lists, connects up with MailChimp and a couple others. It does a lot. Really great plugin. I do also want to remember to thank Charlie for coming to the aid of the show and bringing our contest all into an organization that is working. So thanks a lot, Charlie. Greatly appreciate all the support you give the show. And that's how you can support the show, folks. There's many different things that need to be done. You know, aside from money. Money is useful, but getting other things accomplished for the show, even someone to do research and send us stuff, that would be fantastic. Save some time. All right. Currently, we do have a contest. I got to announce out the last contest. We had a winner for that one for the unlimited lifetime license of Happy Files. The winner was Jason Lee, so congratulations to Jason. So currently we do have a contest where we are giving away an annual single license of Equalize Digital, the Accessibility Checker Pro plugin. This is a comprehensive accessibility scanner tool for your WordPress website. In other words, it's a way to help ensure that your website is accessibility ready. If you're out of the States, you know how important that is because you could get sued down there. I'm not so certain about Canada yet, but I imagine it's not too far behind. This is an annual license valued at $149, and it's a really great plugin. You want to find out more about this? Go check out the interview I did with Amber Hind from Equalize Digital. We had a great conversation talking about this plugin and what their organization does and how it came about. Really good interview, so go check that interview out, folks. It can really help you out. So that's the contest, and remember, hey, even if you don't think you need this plugin, go enter the contest. At least let us know you're listening and you want to support the show. Even if you win the license and you don't use it, you can always give it back and recycle it or give it off to someone else. Or hang on to it for a little while. You never know when you might just need a license for accessibility checking on a website you're developing. So go enter the contest, folks. It only takes a minute. All we need is your name and email address. And if you're already entered on our email list, we won't enter you twice. We'll only enter you once. In the email list, all you get is a weekly newsletter talking about things we talked about on the show and links to the show itself. All right, so that covers up that. And in this episode here, I covered up the following plugins: Design Bro, Business Name Generator, which I gave a 5 to, the Raffle Play Woocommerce, which I gave a 4 to, and the subscriber add-ons for the event calendar, which I gave a 5 to.
And I covered Night Eye, which I gave a 4 to. I have such a hard time with that word. Infinite Uploads, which I gave a 3 to. And Wpit, Funny Name Generator, which I gave a 5 to.
Very nice. All for the infidels. All right. And a couple other quick things before we head off into the Q&A segment of the show, which, of course, the Q&A segment is split into two, where we cover part of it here for the podcast, and the other part is only carried on the YouTube version. So you'll want to, if you're listening on the podcast, you'll want to go check out the last little bit of the YouTube show to hear the rest of the Q&As. So at the moment, as I said, there's no meetup plan, but I am in the works of planning up a convoluted meetup that will encompass the Rogues Tavern, No Agenda, and Wpit Plugins. It's going to probably happen early summertime, and it'll probably be up at the Oasis. So that's probably what we're going to do with that. So stay tuned for that. If you're not getting enough of hearing about me and Amber chat, make sure you go check us out at the Rogues Tavern for the new podcast and live stream we have over there. You can go check it out at theroguestavern.com/live, where we do a weekly, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m., a weekly shooting the shit at the Rogues Tavern. All right, it is time for...
It's question and answer time.
With Amber.
So just to start this off, if you have any questions you would like to have asked, send them over to me at amber@wppro.ca, and I will get them up on here. If you want to keep yourself anonymous, just send me the questions and let me know you don't want your name or anything put up there. If you want the world to know it's you asking the questions, let me know that, and I'll make sure that everyone knows you are the one asking the question. So my first question is, how do you link advertising to your site to make money? And how do you make a penny a click?
Okay, well, that's two questions.
Okay.
Well,
they're related.
It's still two questions.
Okay. Fine, two questions.
All right, well, the first one, how do you link advertising to your site to make money? Well, that depends on what advertising you're getting. If you're selling your advertising yourself, you're going out and getting the people to advertise on your site. There's beautiful plugins for WordPress that you can set up an ad system on there. I used to use one called Adding, Ading. It's a premium plugin from, what's the name of those guys there? Envato, premium plugin from Envato. Really great plugin. It works very well. It costs about $20, give or take. And it allows you to set up zones throughout your site for your advertising, and you get the images from the people who advertise, or you create the image, you put the image on the site, you set the link it goes through, and then people click on it and they go through. The other ways is if you can qualify for Google Ads or the dozens of other advertising companies out there now, there's dozens of them now, if you can qualify for them, because many of them now require you to have 50,000 views of your website a day just to qualify for the advertising to put their advertising on your website. So you got to be a fairly popular website for it. As for your second question, which does tie into your first one, make a penny a click. I don't know if they pay you that much anymore. That's an awful lot of payment for an ad nowadays. You know, some of the ads they pay you on, these advertisers pay you on a worsening scale of scamming that I've determined over the years, and they pay on what they call cost per thousands. It's labeled CPM for some reason, but it's cost per thousand, not cost per million, or cost per million. And what that means is cost per thousand of views of the ad. And so it means every time the ad shows up on your site 1,000 times, you might get 10 cents, or you might get a nickel. If people click through the ad, you might get an extra penny or two if they click through the ad. It varies. The amount they pay you now is so varied. The only people that really make money are the ones that had created their website years ago, and they constantly creating new content to keep the search engines coming and to keep the visitors coming to the website. And they have so much content that the visitors are there all the time. And there's a few websites I visit like that are just stuffed. The worst thing is that many websites I go to, I start to read the article and the ads are so annoying. I just say, I'm out of here. I'm not going to read this article, and I'm gone. They may have already gotten their money for the ad views, but the ads didn't mean anything. We've become so ad blind on the internet. I don't know if it's going to work anymore. It's one reason I'm not going to put any ads on the Rogues Tavern ever. I've taken all the ads off of the Wpit Plugins site. The little sponsorship piece I have for the show, that's in case somebody wants to do it, but basically it's just me showcasing my other company. My main business is basically what it's for. I've had a couple of sponsors there, here and there, and I've sold a few ads here and there, but it was never a lot of money. It was an extra few bucks here and there. It was never enough money to, do anything significant with. So I've determined if you want to sell ads on your website, you literally have to make that your full-time job. Just like if you become an affiliate marketer, you literally have to make affiliate marketing your full-time job to make any significant money off of it. In the early days of the internet, it was easy. I made hundreds of dollars a month in the early days of the internet with advertising and affiliate marketing, and it just required no effort because nobody was there yet. But once the market got super saturated, the prices came down, you made no money, and I started yanking that stuff because that's not what I wanted to do for a full-time job.
What is affiliate marketing?
Well, if you can affiliate market Amazon products, for instance, they're the first one to come to mind. You get special links from Amazon. You put those links on your website. If somebody clicks that link, goes to Amazon, buys the product, you get a 2 or 3% of the sale price of that item. The same happens with multiple other companies. They do affiliate marketing. You get a percentage of the sale. The price of the product doesn't change for the end user, but what happens is they're cutting you in on their profit by giving you a percentage of the sale. And that's because you drove the client to them. And affiliate marketing used to be a really big thing. There was lots of money to be made in affiliate marketing, but again, you had to make it your full-time job to turn it into a significant amount of money.
Sounds like when you're doing consignment.
Yeah.
You give the shop your clothes on consignment, and you get a portion of whatever they sell it for.
Mm-hmm. It's a similar sort of idea. But that's how that works there in the advertising. And the advertising, the plugins are really useful and they do help. You can use them in multiple other ways besides advertising. Like if you're trying to showcase stuff on your website and you just want to put banner ads here and there on your website, the advertising plugins are great for that. So there's lots of things you can do. But advertising on your site to make money, you have to have a pretty busy website before the advertising will give you any significant amount of money. It's like making money off YouTube videos now. It's nearly impossible to make money off YouTube videos now, unless you get your audience to support you. And that's the way of the world. The No Agenda does, and I forgot to give them their shout out at the beginning, but that's No Agenda with their value for value model, where people give them donations in what they consider value for the value the show produces, which is what this show has been working towards trying to be, the value for value. We give value, people will hopefully give us value back. They can give us value back in time, talent, or treasure, meaning money. And that's what we're looking for.
I'm just reading what Hendy
Yeah,
said.
so am I. I just saw that pop up. And yeah, putting ads on your website needs to be done carefully. It can make your site look unprofessional, especially if too many, depends on what your site's primary purpose is. Well, absolutely. And that's what I was mentioning, but not those kind of words. Yeah, ads on your website. I've done that, made my site unprofessional with the ads. I've been down those roads. And many people put too many on there because they figure the more, the better. Like I used to belong to, what was it, half a dozen different ad networks. And I was supplying ads from all those networks. And then Google started down the line of, you can't put anyone else's ads but ours on your site, or, you're limited to one other ad company. It's like, it just got so insane keeping up with the rules. And that's part of the reason why I got rid of it. But yeah, and that's why now I just there's no point in the ads. The ads don't do anything but to distract from what your website's trying to do. So the advertising supported model is dying. It's going to die a nasty death, I think, over the next 5 to 10 years. The advertising supported model just doesn't work.
Okay.
What will work is native ads. Native ads will work.
Native ads?
Native ads, that's where some company comes with you with a widget. We got this really cool widget. We need you to write an article about how cool our widget is. We'll pay you X amount of money to write this cool article about our widget and put it on your website so all the people who buy widgets will read about this thing and then come over to our website and buy our widgets. Native ads. If you listen to No Agenda long enough, you've heard them talk about native ads. And they point out news stories that are native ads. It's like the news story that comes to mind over the last year, happens every Christmas, is the secret Santas at Walmart that come in and pay off these people's layaways. That's a native ad for Walmart. Because it's just like, $60,000 was paid off. Well, maybe somebody did that, but maybe Walmart did that themselves and put the story out. But what does it do? It makes Walmart look really good, even though somebody else paid it off. It's an ad for Walmart, is what it is.
I understand now.
It's a native ad. It's an ad disguised as a news story or an article is what a native ad is, where people are reading it and they can't tell it's an actual advertisement. Though there's rules around that, there's ways around the rules. There's always loopholes. All right, well, there you go. There's your thing about advertising, which just went into a great big tirade.
Well, going the opposite direction now, what about getting ads for your site onto other sites?
Oh, you reach out to other sites and you ask them what they would charge you to put an ad on their website. And I can tell you the return on that is not very high. Your return on investment is usually not very high. Okay,
well, once your site is up and going, how do you go about getting your site better known? Like, is there a plugin for that?
There might be a plugin for it. You reach out through social media to people. I honestly don't know anymore. I've given up trying. It used to be easy ways to do it. Write good quality content and get to search engines to index you. That's one of the biggest ways. Produce catchy videos for YouTube that people will catch and follow. Produce catchy, you might even try producing catchy stuff on, where are all the eyeballs? They're on YouTube. They're on, what's that, that little TikTok. There you go, TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're on WhatsApp. They're on, not WhatsApp so much. They're on Facebook. You promote through those areas there because that's all they are now is they're promotion places. They're no longer any places for any sort of decent conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, SEO, as Hemdian said, SEO is the best thing, search engine optimization. In other words, write content for your website that search engines like, and you'll eventually rise to the top. And that's kind of hard. It's a hard thing to do, but it's not as hard as you think. It's like I used to do it. I just haven't bothered with it in a long time. I've fallen on the rankings because I haven't spent time on my website because my content's become aged. And you need to have regular content that is not aged.
Okay. My last question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pinterest. Pinterest is another place that...
Oh, yeah, Pinterest. I use Pinterest, too. I forgot about Pinterest. Pinterest is a great place to go if you've got artwork you want to sell, because people like artwork and pictures, because Pinterest is all about pictures. So Pinterest
is good for art and stuff, too.
Yeah, but Etsy's a store. You got to pay money to them. They're not a network. They're an e-commerce site, and they take like 10% of your sale or something.
Okay, so my last question is, how do you go about...
That was the second question. Once your site's up and running, is there a plugin for it? Okay, there are plugins to help you with promoting your stuff to social networks.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I mean, aside from, like the basic share buttons and stuff.
No, there's plugins that will automatically publish your content to social networks. I covered one just a week or two ago on the show.
Yeah, I do remember you talking about that.
Yeah. I just don't remember what the name of it was. All right, well, this will be the last question. We'll let you shout out the last question, then we'll do our closing credits, and we'll carry it on. Afterwards.
So, how do you go about choosing your color scheme for your site so it's pleasing to the viewer? Like, what goes into that?
Well, that's a very good one. I like that question because there's a good long answer to that one, and we'll come back to that one after the end. And we'll let my girl take us out of here, and I will enjoy my shot.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty. Okay, on to your final question. How do you go about choosing your color scheme for a site to be pleasing to the viewer? What goes into it? How's your color theory?
Well, what kind of color theory are you talking about? Are you talking about the color theory for the psychology, or the color theory for what colors go together and do not go together?
They're both the same.
Not really.
Yes, they are.
One I learned in art, one I learned in psych. So
yeah,
they have completely different...
Well, they have a different way of coming at this exact same problem. All right, so the first thing I do is I did a big deep dive into color theory about 7 years ago. I did this massive deep dive into color theory. And it was color theory not only for the psychological view, but the color theories for choosing complementary colors, in the triadic or the opposing. I can't remember all the terms around it. You get yourself a color wheel, you choose one color, and then you move it out into 3 colors. You can have a 3-color scheme, or you use 2-color scheme or 4-color scheme. And wherever you move your primary color on there, all your other colors are automatically chosen on the color wheel for complementary. There's automatic color wheel choosers available on the web that just you put in your color you want, and it'll automatically tell you what your other colors are. But the biggest deep dive you need first is the other color theory, the psychological version of it. And what you're looking for is, what kind of website are you building? What is your audience? How do you want your audience to feel when you land on your website? I mean, the best one for me right now to give an example of is johnoverall.com, which is all in greens. It used to be in blues. At one point it was purples. It's had multiple colors over the years. But what happened after I did my deep dive into color theory, green is a color that promotes a lot of trust in people and calmness, trust and calmness. Calmness in particular. You ever heard the term green room when people are talking about going to a TV set or something? They're all waiting in the green room. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that room used to be painted green. And there was a reason why it was green, because guests to a show would be anxious and whatever, and they'd stick them in the green room for a little while, and being in the green room would calm them down. Because green calms people down. And it also inspires trust. Blue is a better color for inspiring trust, but green is a color for calming people down and relaxing them. And so you choose a color. If you choose reds are colors of excitement and energy and vibrance. And, you know, that's why you look at the colors of logos, like a McDonald's logo is red and yellow for a reason, you know, because it inspires you to want to eat, and it inspires you to energy. You know, all colors have meaning. And what's interesting about that color theory is that those meanings go across cultures. Mm-hmm. Many of the meanings for the colors are the same across cultures. So it makes it easy.
I found that really interesting when I dove into it a while back.
Yeah, well, I did. And that's the thing is, when you're choosing your color scheme, you start out, you go, okay, who's my main audience? What kind of people are they? Are they energetic people? Are they people looking to be reassured so that they can be trusting of what they're going? It's like when people come to me on my website, on johnoverall.com, they're coming to me to hand me over the keys to their website, their little own private world or whatever. And so they need to be able to have some trust and faith. And that's what the website is designed to do, is inspire trust and faith right off the bat. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, and that's why I chose greens, you know, and it's trust, faith, and calmness. And it's a reassuring calmness. You know, I've got another website in blue, but you look at Wpit Plugins, it's in orange. It's in oranges, so it's vibrant energy. You know, and that's what it is. It's a show because plugins are all vibrant and energetic, you know, and that's, you know, I didn't randomly choose these colors. I chose these colors with some significant thought behind them. And
so here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What color scheme would you choose for like for Boxed in Arts? It's a community thing for artists. So what color scheme would you look at for that?
I don't know. I would have to spend some time analyzing a few different color schemes for the artist industry. I have a vague idea on the artists. I've not been connected to the artists community for quite some time. You know, it probably would be something, because artists are always kind of mopey. You know, dark themes is usually good. They like that. They like dark colors, but dark colors tends to inspire darkness. So you want to be brighter. You want to be a little bit less energy. But if you're trying to sell it, you're not just after the artists, you're after the audience for the artists, because you're trying to sell something off that website. You're not just trying to attract artists. You're trying to attract artists to put their stuff up so that it can be sold through your store. So you're not looking at the artists. You're looking at the people who buy the art. Who are the people that buy the art? And what kind of people are those? And those are the people that'll be visiting the site. The artists, I don't know. So you're probably wanting a bright and vibrant color of some sort, and something to inspire a little bit of faith that, when they buy it, they'll still get the product they want. I wouldn't go with blues. I wouldn't go with greens. Yellows, I would probably think yellows. I might choose some reds for it. I would spend a little time digging through the research on color theory and trying to place the audience with all the different colors, and use primary colors. You want to start with primary colors, red, green, yellow, blue. You want to start with primary color before you move off into the variants.
Okay, so essentially, in order to choose the right color scheme, you need to study the psychology behind the colors and their meanings,
and the psychology behind the audience you want to reach. What is the primary color of the audience you reach? Because we only have 4 primary colors. We have red, green, yellow, blue. Okay, that's your 4 primary colors.
Primary is actually red, yellow, and blue, because green is just yellow and blue.
Okay,
together,
red, yellow, and blue. Okay, so red, yellow, and blue. Green is always tossed in there. But okay, you got red, yellow, and blue. So which of those 3 primary colors is your audience? And then from there, you start moving down into the blends of those primary colors. But you got to start with your primary color and move on.
All right.
So that's what it's a lot to go. People don't think about how much goes into choosing a color scheme. Hours of research goes into choosing a color scheme. That's why I don't choose color schemes for my clients anymore. I ask them what color scheme they want. You tell me what color scheme you want. I'm not going to. I've done it for clients, and they don't pay me for the time involved in figuring out the color scheme. There's a lot of time that goes into it.
Okay, well, attached to that question, which I forgot to write down here, is what do you do first? Do you do the logo or the color scheme first? Or do you do the logo and then figure out the color scheme for your logo and then your site?
You always do your logo first.
Okay.
Your website color scheme is always based on your logo.
Okay.
That was the one thing I did discover. It's really hard to choose a color scheme for your site and then make a logo fit. You create a logo that fits your company and your business with the colors the logo needs to be. And then you don't even have to worry about your color scheme on your website. You just choose the colors off the logo or a variant of the colors off the logo. And you'll notice that through my 2 primary websites, and even my the Rogues Tavern website is being developed with the primary colors off the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And even with my clients, if they give me a logo and they don't have a color scheme, I just build it off their logo. And it's always the right color scheme for the site because it blends with the logo.
Pretty cool. Hemian said that the colors, etc., be consistent across all your outputs.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be consistent. Yeah. That's why you build your logo first, because you build your logo, then you build your business cards, and then you build it. Well, we don't do stationery anymore. Used to do stationery. Because once upon a time, I used to create logos. I've actually got a few logos out there still floating around that I created for companies years, and God, I guess it's been almost 20 years since I did logos. And I think there's 2 or 3 of my logos out there I created 20 years ago that are still in use by the companies I created them for.
Cool.
But you create a logo, and logos, it's like a logo for a company. People want cheap logos. A good logo will cost you a minimum of $5,000 to have someone design. That's a minimum for a logo.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I used to do them cheap, and then when I realized that they were taking me so many hours to do, and of course you have several passes back and forth to the customer, I realized I was undercharging for them, and I quit doing that, and I start charging the real price, and my logo business dried up because people didn't want to pay it because I wasn't that well known and I wasn't that good. I was good, but I wasn't that good. I mean, my last logo for johnoverall.com, I didn't do. I hired somebody to do it for me. It cost me a couple of grand, but the reason it only cost me a couple of grand was I completed it to about 70% and presented them with everything I needed at 70%. And I said, I need this finished. And so they had less work to do.
Oh, cool.
So I did all the initial work, and then I gave them to do the fine tuning and make it the completion of it. And the Wpit Plugins logo as it exists now, that was a donation from one of our listeners. The logo I was using that I'd created was haphazard and it was half-assed. And then one day, one of our listeners said, "Here, try this." I looked at it and said, "Cool, we'll take it. Thank you." So the Wpit logo is another donation to the show from one of our listeners. I haven't given him a shout out for that in quite some time. It was a couple, 3 years ago, but he's listed in the credits from way back episodes when it came into existence. So, logos is your most important piece, your identity for your company. And of course, you'll see companies change their logos over time. Many companies do. As the company evolves, the logo changes. Some of them go from really good logos to, God, what the hell were they thinking? I've seen that happen to many companies. But there's some companies that have never changed their logo since it was incepted. Think about Nike's logo. Think about Coca-Cola's logo. Think about
Apple.
Apple logo, the logo's not changed. The colors of it have changed over the years.
Yeah, but the Apple itself has never changed.
Yeah, the Apple itself has never changed. So, and that's the thing is, it's like, a good logo is timeless. And that's what most companies know. And like the major corporations, they'll pay $300,000-$400,000 for their logo to be designed.
Cool.
So it's like, it's a good thing to do. Yeah, your logo is first, your colors second. And as Hemdian said, consistent across your output, and which is important. And the output is not just your website, but your business cards, everything. The color should be the same across everything you put out. Should be all the same colors. All right, well, that wraps it up. I think we got nothing left here to say.
Yeah.
All right, so we shall call it a day. We'll take it out of here with a little bit of thunder and wrap it up.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
That's all we got now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Adios, mofo.